It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Endwalker time. New Game Plus. Woo! Let's get on with it. Alphino. Woo! Dweshe, do you have some time to talk? I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's Respite and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves. Let us take stock of the facts, shall we? Crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of the ominous towers in a multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that said structures were brought into being by an organization known as the Telophoroi. The Telophoroi's stated purpose is to recreate the final days of eons past, an apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have these towers of theirs been the cause of untold suffering. Countless innocents kidnapped and imprisoned, their faith perverted for primal summoning. And unless we can find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those shielded with the blessing of light seem able to resist being tempered at least. But after what happened to Arnvald and Fordola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. Yet, while these threats close to home are of paramount concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. As you know, the Telophoroi are under the leadership of Van Daniel and one other delightful fellow, Zeno J. Galvus, the Crown Prince and our dear friend. To date, he's reclaimed his old body, murdered Emperor Varus, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The Emperor kinda had it coming. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while there, it saw the bloodiest fighting in the War of Succession, but that has since changed, and in troubling ways. Just a little recap for those who haven't been playing everything back to back. Aye, during our reconnaissance, the air was not once rent by the barking of cannons or the cries of discord. 'Twas an eerie fog of silence which did blanket that ruined city. The inhabitants appeared to have been tempered, and with nary a word spoken did they labor to transform the palace into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it seems safe to assume that these events too were orchestrated by the Telophoroi. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of recent developments, I fear it is only the prelude to an even greater catastrophe. We need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way in Charlian, I'm sure of it. Master Fortuno's comments regarding the final days were curious to say the least. The Forum knows more than it is letting on. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from Mistress Kral. She says that arrangements for your visit have been finalized. You're to head to Limsa and board the next ship bound for Charlian. And, on arrival, present yourselves as associates of the students of Valdesian, come to assist with the Order's restoration. The arrangements may be settled, but what of your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. I am eager to see it, of course. Of course. We should set off at once. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. Oh, I love this outfit. That's one of my favorites. I farmed for it for so long. It's from the Near Automata raids, the crossover. Ah yes, Limsa. What are you two talking about? Sea travel can be tedious, but I don't mind it. 'Tis a rare experience for mostish guardians. Yeah, because you're landlocked. I never thought the day would come when I would be sailing home again. It always seemed so very far away. I shudder to think what manner of truth awaited us beyond the indigo deep. Still more do I dread the prospect of discussion long overdue. Yeah... about that. Contrary to what you might think, this will be like going home for me as well. I may have learned how to survive in Limsa, but it was in Charlian where I was taught, quite relentlessly might I add, the skills to properly live. I might have lived in Master Matoya's cave for a good part of my life, but even for me, the thought of returning to Charlian is quite exciting. I can hardly imagine how it is for the others who lived most of their lives there. Let's get this shit out of the way. Though a part of me looks forward to returning home, I have not forgotten that Father stripped us of the privileges of our family name. I hope that it doesn't cause trouble with the officials upon our arrival. What a grim reason to bring you to Charlian. Not much to be done about it, I suppose, but I would have liked to give you the grand tour under happier circumstances. Okay, let's go. Everyone's here, which is good, because I've already paid for your passage, and the fee is non-refundable. The trip for Charlian should be pulling into port soon, so please follow me and have all your luggage close at hand. It's so funny. Like, after this, you can actually teleport back to Limsa, and she is like, I guess I can find you another ship.
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule, or so I'm told.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Better.
Are you all right, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just, we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hellbent on destroying the world. And once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
I'll bring them back safe and sound, I promise.
I'll hold you to that.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hori! Coultine! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return. We will too, of course. Aye, we, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Charlian!
It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown.
Oh, who's this narrating?
A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent.
I love me some Emmett narration.
And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Yay, a map. I love a map. He's such a drama queen. I love him so much. I love that for me as well.
Here. Feel. Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt. Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself. In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Charlian should be coming into view at any moment.
If I recall correctly, this is... like, the first part of this was a recreation of a cutscene in 1.0. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, visual references to 1.0 and the base game and trailer for 1.0. Oh, look at that! Who's that? Hello, ma'am.
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad. Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light, guided by the crystal.
Yeah. Why now, Hydaelyn?
After your sojourn in the First, I believe you have your answer. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Eidolon has always been, a primal. Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental. Which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlayan's just over yonder.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go! Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlayan.
Oh, I see it.
Well...
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you? Indeed. 'Tis as Sir Estinian said. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Endwalker! Woo!
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next then? Entry applications?
Yes.
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders. Especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
May.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration. Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we?
Ooh. I love this scene so much.
Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Grahatir of the Students of Baldessian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with a citizen registry kept in the main repository.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alize Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up.
And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
Twache Mumafe, artisan. She is an omnicrafter.
Indeed. Your profile describes you as an adventurer, but one also trained in the rather more constructive pursuits of procurement and production. You may enter. And you, sir?
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
Unemployed.
If you'll allow me... My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
We love Krell.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Croyle! It is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you all seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we?
Gotta get one of those.
Oh. Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
I love Growl. Yeah. I'm glad I spotted your ship coming into port. The officers are born bureaucrats and sticklers for details. In any case, you may relax and take a moment to get your land legs back. It's snowing! I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how we might proceed. But this is Dweshain and Istinian's first time in Sharlayan, and for the rest of you, a homecoming that was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit and people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you all may have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? 'Tis a fine suggestion. We may not be welcome at the Leveilleur estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I am equally untethered, as it were. There's no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Aetherite Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, we'll see you there. I, too, have places that I would be remiss in not visiting port with. By thy leave. What of you, Estinian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Oh. Well, Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while, and this would be the perfect way to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Oh, of course, if you will have me. Come to Ashe, Sharlayan awaits. After you, my friend. I am more than content to follow your lead. Grahatia is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. Blah 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 blah. Okay, this is not important. All set then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, will be the Last Stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbor. Lead your two companions to the Last Stand and speak with them there. Conversation points. So yeah, you can walk around with them. This place is called the Peristyle, and is the first stop for cargo unloaded at the docks. You'll find the usual necessities for daily living and other imports vital to running an island nation, but also supplies that further Sharlayan's pursuit of knowledge, namely large quantities of books, specimens, and samples. Sorting these stacks certainly seems to keep the attendants busy. Yeah, I'm not gonna do everything because I just want to get going, but there's some fun conversations. And here we are at the last stand. I may have mentioned this before, but although our research into nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, the average Sharlayan tends to regard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. Oh, it's so European. Western European, at least. How can I put this? The food is, it's bland. As encapsulated by our infamous Arkan loaf, the prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first, and a taste a distant second. There was one pupil at the studium, however, who could stomach the school's insipid meals no longer, so he quit his lessons and poured all his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost of fine dining in Sharlayan, the one and only bastion of the culinary arts in an isle of otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items on the menu, not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were a typical Sharlayan when it came to cheap and convenient, Raha. But surely Tataru has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should all stop in when time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe here will take us to the Aetheryte Plaza. Run, run, run! Oh, look at the Aetheryte! That's so pretty. I love the Nautilus shell motif in Sharlayan. It's really cool looking. An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, that it is a perfectly functioning Aetheryte. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now, being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention of the Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza. Its much vaunted discoveries are the reason Sharlayan stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Allagan Aetherites, it allowed us to understand and reconstruct what was essentially a lost art. And off we go to our next destination. Our path leads northeast to the Agora, Sharlayan's largest marketplace. Man, Sharlayan's so pretty. Welcome to the Agora, where you can find wares made in Sharlayan as well as a wide selection of imported goods. They also used to sell questionable prototypes from the various research institutes, but I think that practice has thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up for your next big adventure. Am I overselling it? Ahem. On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one which has particular relevance to our ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Aetherite Plaza, follow the path north, then climb the stairs up to that imposing building at the very top. Yeah. I think, you know, with the names of everything, I think it's kind of like Greek inspired, and also in the fact that the color scheme here is white and blue, which I do think is rather Greek. There's probably some other... Well, yeah, just look at this. That's Greek to a T. There might be some other influences, like how Garlemald is kind of a cross between the Roman Empire and Russia. Ooh, yeah. And just look at that. I wish it wasn't snowing, because it's so pretty here when the sun is out. Yeah. The grand structure before you is the rostra. The name refers to the original public platform erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved into council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. My apologies. From here one can see the entire city spread out below. The vista put me in mind of my arrival in the first. Those who had gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Sharlayan. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew into a town, a community, the Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the councillors would object to you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fittingly named Journey's End. Walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. Oh. To the east, not the west. Yeah, I've seen people talking about, like, if you compare a map of Sharlayan and of the Crystarium, it's pretty similar. Which I love. We have arrived at Journey's End. History tells us that this was where those who put ashore with Archon Yunkref built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as the residential district for the most important officials and oldest Sharlayan families. You'll see that one manor is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friends from House Levayer. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, we bring our little Sharlayan tour to a close. I hope it has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head directly to the Baldeshian Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, then follow the path below the Aetherite Plaza? Correct. After you, Dwashe. Okay. Huh. As the joyous look on Raha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldessian Annex. If you continue up the hill, you'll arrive on the doorstep of the phenomenon. But I think we've explored enough for one day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you then? I'm back, and I've brought Dwashe and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship then. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, Dwashe. I've heard many a tale of your exploits. Ojika Tsunjika, it's been an age. Allow me to introduce Ojika Tsunjika, Administration Officer for the students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day business of the Annex. You may recall meeting his cousin, Ejika. Oh yes, Eureka. I've read the initial reports. Quite a shock to hear what's become of the Isle. To take care of you, have the opportunity to rejoin the expedition. This place is like a second home for the students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Charlian. Whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodging for our members while we engaged in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters, along with the Isle itself, vanished, the annex has served as our base of operations. And yet it feels so empty. With so many lost to us, our organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we will see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Tolofroil fall. Through the door on the left, there is the main hall where we can discuss our options moving forward. Once everyone arrives, that is. You should probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. We've had private quarters prepared for you in the Undrons, so please feel free to make yourself at home. Ah, the nap rooms. Perfect for an afternoon doze. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more so than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. 'Twas simply that we were often so busy with research or exhausted from journeys abroad that we would slip into the Undren just to steal a few winks. And thus they became known amongst the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well into the following morning. Say the word and I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be too long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. get some rest. Or not. Let's not get some rest. Let's talk to Kryle. Yeah, Kryle actually has a really unusual name for a Lalafell. I guess if you would follow like the traditional, oh man, her name would be like, her first name would be like Kryle, and her last name would be Kryle, like Tataru Taru. But for male Lalafells, it's like Ojika Tsunjika. It's like the last part of the name repeats for them, and the first part is, yeah, it's really cute. I really like their naming conventions. Feeling refreshed and alert, our colleagues should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Urianger. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroid's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Sharlayan, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair.
Ah, I love
Her
Thavnair.
missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the Satrap of Radzat-Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. 'Tis possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnarian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary.
Why not both?
Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts.
Dwasha's got you.
You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alize and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course! The more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavnair. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavnair on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
I ship it. Final Fantasy 14, a disease that makes you ship middle-aged men. We're going to Thavnair first, hell yeah! Absolutely. I have Kral's instructions in hand. If you are ready to set out, then so are we. Having been to Thavnair before, I can travel by Aetherite, but what of the rest of you? Another sea voyage would waste time we do not have. Kral was of the same mind, and has already secured the aid of the good folk of the Confluence. We'll take ourselves there. The Confluence, thou sayest? Oh. I'm afraid so, my friend. Thou wilt recall the hunt for Iceheart, unto whose sanctuary we delivered thee, owing to the knowledge of our comrade Mumbrida. Mumbrida was an authority on aetherology, a field of study she did embark upon in pursuit of her parents' example. Both are authorities in their own right, and both are researchers at the Confluence. Haven't you gone to see them yet? I attempted to do so earlier, but to my shame, my courage failed me at the last. As it hath the many times I thought to reach out to them after sending that fateful letter. Neither time nor introspection have revealed unto me the words I should speak, and thus I have kept my silence. Whether you come with us or no is your choice and yours alone. If it is too difficult, we'll manage. Thou art kind to say so, but I have no intention of forsaking our cause. I shall go to the Confluence, and I shall face that which hath been long been overdue. If it's settled, then let us be off. When we arrive, we should look for a researcher named Kite. So many ways you can say that name. Kite. Yeah. He sent a letter like, hey, your daughter died, and then he was too afraid to go talk to them, which, you know, understandable. I just grab Urianger and Thancred and slap them and say, these boys can fit so much grief inside. It's not even funny. Well now, this is rather a lot of stern faces. Are my library books overdue again? Not to our knowledge. We're associates of Krile of the Students of Baldessian. We seek passage to Thavnir, and understand that you can assist us. Ah, the test subjects! Welcome, welcome! Test subjects? Oh, you hadn't heard? Well then, allow me to explain. So, in order to travel to an aetheryte, you ordinarily need to be attuned to it beforehand. Otherwise, you can't use it as a beacon to seek out while you're a mess of ether hurtling along the life stream. An inconvenient but incontrovertible limitation of aetheryte teleportation. But what if I were to tell you that there's a way to travel to an aetheryte without being attuned to it? A way to teleport instantly to places you've never been. For long years, we have labored to make such travel possible, that people might move about more freely. And we've finally done it. We've created a new kind of aetheryte that doesn't require attunement. Truly, that changes everything. Well, my language may have been a bit misleading. The user need not attune to these aetherites, but the aetherites themselves must have been pre-attuned to each other, thereby facilitating travel between the 2 points. Yeah! But it just so happens that our first test pair of aetherites, one has been installed here in Charlian, and the other over in Yedlimath, a port town in Thavnir. As you may know, our nation has long maintained strong ties with Radzodhan, and indeed, we owe much of this breakthrough to the contributions of their alchemists. So, to sum up, we're to test these aetherites, How fortuitous for you. I should mention that an accident has impaired my ability to channel ether. Will this be a problem? Not at all. As a matter of fact, you might say these aetherites were made for people like your good self. The magics imbued within will whisk you away without any effort on your part. A veritable dream come true, and far be it from me to worry about such things, but do we have permission to make use of your shiny new invention? The only permission required is yours, so assuming you're willing, we're all set. It may come as a surprise, but we actually struggle to find test subjects. Most people seem to have an unreasonable fear of their souls gradually disintegrating as they drift helpless in the live stream, in the statistically unlikely event that something goes awry. But it's plain that you are most people. Mr. Skrull truly knows how to pick 'em. If I might... It's not. If I might change the subject, are Master Wilfson and Mistress Bluvida not present today? Oh, you didn't hear. They recently resigned their posts. Their expertise was needed elsewhere. A large-scale project helmed by the Forum itself, as I understand, but I'm not privy to the details. I see. Any other questions? No? Then let's get going before you change your minds. Please see to your preparations and head outside to the Aetherite Plaza. I'll be along shortly. Okay. Ugh. My favorite. Calm down. Bun boy going crazy over there.
Right, we're all set. Just the 4 of you, was it?
3. I'm already attuned to the crystal in Thavnir.
You are? Oh. I would have preferred more test subjects. Oh, well, never mind. If our 3 travelers could line up here, please? Yes, right there is fine. Take a deep breath, and I'll soon have you soaring through the ether. Oh, and one last thing. You might experience a teensy-weensy touch of violent ethereal sickness. Good luck!
What?
Yay, it worked. Map, we love the map. Oh yeah, that is a long way. Good that we didn't have to do it by ship. I love map shots.
Thavnir, home
Oh.
to city-state Rads at Han. Rising from the southeast waters of the Bounty, This Isle of Plenty served as the battleground for a conflict between two peoples. Their cultures bled into one another until a unique amalgamation was distilled from the chaos, in a process not unlike their precious alchemy. Once solidified as a single nation, an adamant stance of neutrality would hold invaders at bay. For a time.
Magi didn't get to invade them?
Now across this vibrant isle creeps a fog of malice. What choice do you have? What chance? Against such an insidious foe.
Help me! Help me! Oh man, just look at that.
I've seen fairer faces after a bout of bad shellfish. Let me bring you something to drink. That should help settle your bellies.
There was a note with Kryle's instructions. Don't let Estinian roam the markets alone. He's alarmingly bad with coin.
That woke Droshe up. Urianje's doing the sitting crying in the shower hungover pose. You managed to will yourself to your feet, but given your condition, will you be able to reach Estinian in time? Estinian, no! No, not our buddy! Tatara's gonna kill me! Estinian! Estinian! You there, I need 3 drinks, something that helps with ether sickness. By the Manusha, traveler. I mean, greetings. Greetings and welcome. You're a wise good sir to come to me. My special amrelasi, made with only the finest and freshest ingredients, is famed for calming unruly bellies. By way of a warm welcome to Thavnir, I'm pleased to offer it to you for the low price of 19,800 gil. For not 1, not 2, but 3 bottles. A bargain amongst bargains. The price is high road robbery, and you want to say as much to Estinian, but you realize any words of warning you cry out would be accompanied by your last meal. You must stand before Estinian and using gestures deny that the deal is fair. You're so stupid! Stop! I thought you could barely stand. What do you need to tell me that's so urgent? Wait, I shouldn't buy the lassie? This merchant is swindling me. Ah! Sincerest apologies, sir, but I appear to have my prices confused. It's actually 1,890 gil for the 3 bottles of lassie. That confusion would have been quite costly for the both of us. Very well then, your coin. Here, a bottle for each of you. Take them to the others and get some rest. I'll be back after I've explored the town. Oh my god. Tatara would have murdered us. He's got nothing. Praise be to the 12. My stomach doth loosen its death grip. My heartfelt thanks to thee and Estinian, and to the fine fruits of this land. You were in time? Excellent. You've spared us Tatara's wrath. Sweet, sweet release. If you haven't already, you should have yours too. Right, I'm ready to get on with it. That lassie truly worked wonders. Back on your feet, I see. Thy hair. I have found it. 'Tis this the most I could do against this heat, short of shedding my armor. May I ask where you got the cord for it? A local vendor. The man said it's Thavnarian weave, tough and not easily unraveled. And how much did it cost? 9,400 gil, a steal, I was told. 'Tis nothing fancy, but I've always valued function over form. That's incredible. I dare say not even Alphino could hold a candle to you. It's not uncommon for merchants to set their prices high, but doesn't it seem excessive here? I am inclined to agree with thine assessment. It doth seem excessive, unusually so. Claiming Thavnir as its dominion, the nation of Radzathan hath long thrived as a hub of commerce. In the beginning, there were the Arcasadora, a Matanga tribe indigenous to this island. Over time, they came to be joined by other races, and through their intermingling, a culture rich and distinct did emerge. From alchemy to textiles, the products of Hanish culture have come to be celebrated and coveted the world over. A development only aided by the nation's prime location as a waypoint betwixt east and west. All of this hath combined to make a trading power of Radzathan, yet such a status cannot be taken for granted. Nay, it must needs be maintained through judicious governance and stringent regulation. Neither of which I see any evidence, given that merchants are at a gateway town are free to fleece hapless travelers and tarnish the reputation of the nation at large. Just so, that opportunistic pricing is rampant doth suggest that oversight is much weakened, or mayhap that the people have fallen upon hard times. Whatever the truth may be, 'twould be prudent to ascertain the current state of affairs. Prudent and practical, aye. We've naught to lose by learning more. So, ere we seek out Kral's acquaintance, shall we see what information we can gather here in Yedlimad? Excellent. We didn't exactly get off to a flying start, but we'll make up for it. Oh man. Just wondering, do you have time for another mission, or should we stop here for today? Either way is fine by me. Yeah, no worries. It's been a good little start. And I love Thavnir. It's so beautiful. Just look at these buildings. Ah. Oh man. Yeah, we had some really good progress today. And we've started Endwalker. Finished up Shadowbringers. So I am excited for the streams to come. Let's see. Yeah, so unfortunately the coming days I am... Yeah, it is, no, he really does not. It's so funny. I do like his new hairstyle, so now at least his hair isn't clipping into his armor all of the time. Oh look, he even has a little bit of uneven bangs. Do you cut your hair yourself, sir? Is it truly so amusing to see my hair bound? 'Tis how I used to wear it. A functional fashion. Perhaps you were confused by how you found me following Nidhogg's demise. It had fallen loose after the Chirurgeons removed me from my armor and put me to bed. I simply decided to leave it that way for a time, seeing as I would not don the Azure Dragoon's helmet again. Nice, make excuses. Yeah, he would. But I work evenings for the coming 3 days, so my only available night for more streams would be on Friday, but seeing as we don't have Soltura this week, would that be a good date for you? If not, we can just say that's been good for this week. Oh, perfect. Well, yeah, let's just say then next stream will be on Friday. And yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. More Thavnir adventures. I am looking forward to it. Alright, well, thank you for being here. And I will see you on Friday then. Good stream, and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye, goodbye!